Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my wife, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is March 17th, 2000. Carol's got a bit of a headache.
I do, but I'm going to power through and we're going to have a good episode.
An exploding headache, like an exploding father.
Right.
Like, did you ever hear the one about the exploding father? Which is the title of this fucking episode.
So messed up.
What did you think of this episode?
It just continued everything from last episode. Like, there was really nothing new happening in this episode.
I mean, okay.
No? You don't agree?
Well, I mean, there was the one stupid subplot with Matt.
The stupid subplot?
Yeah, we'll get to it. So there were a couple things I liked about this episode, but a lot of it was infuriating too. And I hate how they introduce things just to have them not matter.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
Well, yeah, that's been a big theme in this show, I think, for a while now.
Yeah. So there's obviously Dylan's storyline with Dylan's dad, Jack. I'm Jack McKay or whatever. Something vaguely Western. And then there's the storyline with Matt, as I alluded to, and his client, the stand-up comedian. There's the storyline with Donna and David. There's a little bit of Noah in my life. Mm-hmm. And then there's Randy fucking Spelling.
With Steve and Janet.
Yeah. And I think that's it. Kelly has a PR firm. Kelly started her own PR firm. Mm-hmm. Kelly went to college to be a psychiatrist or psychologist or a social worker or something.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really ever get a title for her degree, but
suddenly it's PR now. It's all about PR.
Because, social work and PR are very, very fucking similar.
Right.
Or not.
Social work was just not sexy enough for Beverly Hills, I guess.
Yes.
So she needs to be in PR now.
Well, I think maybe she's just not nice enough to be, a character that helps people for a living.
That's definitely true. But where do you want to start? Who do you want to start with?
I don't know.
You feel so bad, don't you?
I do.
I can choose if your brain doesn't work.
Yeah, you choose.
All right, let's start with. So there's two big storylines. I would say Dylan's storyline and then Donna and David. So let's start with the Donna David storyline.
Okay, so David gets a job interview.
Yeah, at KTRL in New York. Now,
are you aware of this radio station in real life? Because you were like, oh, the most famous radio station in the country or some shit. And I've never heard of it.
So, no, I'm not. Like,
okay.
That was just like, that's how they're building it up, as like a really huge radio station.
Gotcha.
I'm only familiar with TRL, Total Request Live, with Carson Daly.
What about, I don't know, Howard Stern?
What about Howard the Duck?
I'm just thinking, he was really, freaking, popular. He got a movie and everything.
Yes. Yes. Howard Stern was really popular.
But, I mean, I don't know, DJs generally aren't super famous people.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Howard Stern's on, I don't know what channel he's on right now, but he's he's syndicated across the whole country. And I believe he's based out of New York City.
So is that the kind of thing David's supposed to be in here?
I think so it could lead to that possibly in the future, but it's a job at a specific radio station, but he's at a niche radio station in the LA area. And this is going to New York. New York's the big time in radio. So.
Okay.
There's a reason Howard Stern didn't stay in Detroit, that we went to New York.
Did he even apply for this, or did they just reach out to him? I don't think that would happen.
That's what they said. They were like, "What the fuck? How'd you get this job opportunity? Did you? How long has this been in the works or whatever?" And he was like, "It hasn't been. They reached out to me because one of their producers was in town and heard me on the radio or something like that."
Yeah, it seems very far-fetched.
It does. It seems very far-fetched to hear just a random DJ on the radio and be like, "We must have him."
And I'm sorry, but he's not that fucking great anyway. I mean, he's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we don't hear a lot of his radio show, but
what we do hear, he just talks about women and gets distracted and plays music.
Right, exactly.
So, I don't know. Anyway, he gets this job interview, and it's a big fucking deal.
But Camille, his girlfriend, is upset because they've only been dating for like a month, apparently. Like, things have progressed a little far for a month.
Yeah. Agreed. So, it's been a month, and they have lots of sleepovers.
Yeah.
And she's starting to try to control his life a little bit.
Yeah. Here's how often you can talk to Donna and everything, you know.
And then she says to Donna, if he gets a job in New York, we're done because we've only been together for a month.
Yeah, which is probably true, honestly. But then she says, maybe I'll move there with him.
Way too early for that.
Yeah.
You don't live together now. You're not going to move and live with him in New York.
It's pretty crazy. So he goes there for the interview. He flies out on the red eye, and he calls up Donna to be like, "Hey, you know, everything's cool here. I'm in the hotel room. New York's fun, you know, and everything." He calls now where this, you know, he calls the shop
where Donna and Camille both work,
and she's like, "Well, oh, awesome, have fun, you know, like I'll talk to you soon." And he's like, "Is Camille there?" Because I was actually calling to talk to her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, of course." And so he starts
a little awkward
talking to Camille. It is weird though because she makes it all about like herself. It becomes very clear in this episode that Donna wants to get back together with him.
Yeah,
I mean it's clear before the end of the episode, and then at the end of the episode, she just flat out says to Kelly, she's like, "I gave up David and that was a mistake. Everything I've wanted is right here. I want David."
Yeah, she's like, you know, I think our breakup was a mistake. And we were both trying to remember what the fuck they broke up about in the first place, and I don't remember.
I can't remember. I remember their first breakup was because he cheated on her because he wanted to have sex, and he had sex with Ariel and got crabs. Got Idiots. Sebastian's from Ariel. And then Carrie wore her, remember? Then they got back together, and then they broke up, and I don't remember why they broke up.
I do think it had something to do with her family, like her mom being a bitch or something, but I don't remember exactly.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but
they had sex, I remember that.
They did. That's not why they broke up, though.
No. No, they were encouraged to have sex by her grandmother, who looked exactly like her when she was younger, and whose grandfather looked exactly like David.
Because, you know, that's who played them in the flashbacks.
Yeah, weird. But anyway, I don't remember why they broke up, but they broke up, and now she thinks it's a mistake.
Yeah. So, he calls her from New York.
Yeah, again, after the interview.
At her house this time. To tell her that he got the job.
Yep. He said the program manager or whatever, and he were like he was amazing. They were on the same page about everything. They had the same kind of philosophy as far as like the radio goes and everything. So
he was super excited, and she's like, "Oh, what did Camille say?" He's like, "Oh, I haven't told her yet."
Yeah.
So he called her he called Donna first.
He's like, "I just picked up the phone and dialed," and she's like, "And you dialed me."
So what do you think's going to happen here?
He and Camille are going to break up.
Yeah, for sure. But do you think he's going to move to New York and Donna's going to go with him?
No, he already said he's not.
Oh.
Because I thought maybe that's what they were going to do. That was like the end game for them or whatever. But towards the end of the episode, they have this big party for Now Wear This. They're having like Kelly does a bunch of publicity and stuff like that, and
they're her client now.
Her and Camille clash on stuff because like Kelly really does not like Camille at all. And Camille's like trying to help or whatever, and like, I have contacts that you can use or whatever, and she's like, why don't you fuck off?
Yeah, Kelly was really rude to her. I don't like Kelly.
So they,
I mean, we all know that, but
so they had this big party or whatever, and he and David and Dylan, were outside the party, and he's like, oh, New York was calling or whatever, and Dylan says, are you going to go to New York? Are you leaving? And he goes, no. And he goes, you're staying because of Donna? Like, Dylan gets it. Like, he's staring at Donna the entire time. Like,
yeah.
Dylan gets it that it's not Camille that he's staying for. It's Donna that he's staying for. Yeah. And it was like, basically he said, I don't know or whatever. But he said he's not taking the job. Which is, he should. He should take the job.
You think?
Yeah.
It's
a big opportunity for him.
Sure. But again, these are all rich people who don't, it doesn't really matter if they make more money. They're all good. And
his dad's world famous orthodontist, Mel Silver.
And Donna has her own shop. What's she gonna do that in New York? Like, she's already set up in LA.
I guess that's true. I never thought about that. Although New York is like one of the fashion capitals of the world, so she could certainly move Now Wear This to New York somewhere.
But I feel like that would be like a small fish in a big pond.
I guess that's true. But anyway, so yeah, he decides he's not going to do it, and then he goes to talk to Donna, and Camille like intercepts him, and she's like, "Oh, David, you're back!" And so she hugs him and kisses him and everything, and that's when Donna like stares at them and says to Kelly, "Oh my God. We got to kill her."
Not really, but
no. But she wants David back.
Yeah.
So that's what happens with the David storyline. You want to talk about the stupid fucking storyline?
Yeah. So Matt has a client.
Yeah.
Who's a comedian who's suing like for what, wrongful termination because he got fired for not being funny.
So he signed a contract with the Chuckle Hut or whatever, some stupid comedy club, and they fired him, yes, because he drove the crowds away for being so unfunny, and they weren't paying him. He signed a contract for 6 weeks, and the club was refusing to pay him the remainder of the contract, so he was suing for that. He was suing to get paid the rest of his contract.
It seems like, unless it was a really, really good contract, that would be a waste of money to hire a lawyer to get the rest of a 6-week contract. How much money could it really be?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure. But I don't know if you've ever been friends or known stand-up comedians.
No.
I have. And not all of them, but a lot of times they're like always on. And this guy's one of those guys that's like always on. Because he's having a meeting and he's making all these stupid fucking jokes that make me want to punch him in the face. And they're not funny. Nothing that is said in this show is funny. These people can't write comedy. It reminds me of a terrible episode of Star Trek The Next Generation.
Okay.
Called The Outrageous Okana. And this guy, Okana, is like supposed to be like a Han Solo type rogue or whatever.
Sure.
He comes onto the ship and he's, having sex with pre Lois and Clark, Terry Hatcher. She's on the episode. She's in the episode.
Okay.
Before she got famous in Lois and Clark. And he's just like, and he's like making jokes and making people laugh. And Data gets really interested and is like, why, like, what is this humor? Why is he so funny or whatever? And he has a meeting with Guinan where he talks about it. And she's trying to tell him a joke about, like, she says something like annoyed, like, you're a droid and I'm annoyed. And he's like, humanoid or whatever. Like, he figures it out. He's like, humanoid. And she's like, yes. And he's like, I'm not laughing. And she's like, yeah, I know. And she's like, maybe the joke wasn't funny. And she goes, no, the joke was funny. And I'm like, no, I'm screaming at the screen. It's not. The joke is not funny. Don't tell me that the joke is funny. So then he like calls up this computer program played by Joe fucking Piscopo, who's doing his like best Jerry Lewis impersonation as a stand-up comedian. And like they're like, it's all awful. And all the jokes are terrible. And it's not funny. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is. Even when they do the jokes that supposedly make everyone laugh, they're not funny.
Yeah,
I mean, he does the joke of like two peanuts walk into a bar, one's assaulted, and it's like.
But he couldn't even remember the punchline.
So he said accosted.
Yeah, yeah. The fucking judge was trying to help him with the joke because he was nervous. Because he's trying to prove he's funny to a courtroom. I mean, that is a lot of pressure.
Apparently, he has some sort of stage fright or something like that. They don't 100% get into it. I guess that's what happened on the thing. And by the way, that's relevant. Like, so as Matt says to him, look, it doesn't matter if you're funny or not. That you signed a contract, and that's what matters. Funniness is subjective. And then when they're in court, the lawyer's like, we want to hear your fucking act because we want to see if you're funny or not. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how good his material is unless somehow he fooled the guy into thinking his material was better than it was.
Right.
But he didn't. Like, the guy had to. Did the guy hire him sight unseen? Because that's really stupid from a comedy club owner perspective.
Right.
If he did. But anyway, so he tries to do his act, and it's all painfully unfunny. And so Matt's like, we got to work on your fucking material here. So he has him go to the After Dark when it's just, him and the gang or whatever. And, he tries to do his act, but he's got terrible stage fright, and he fails. Now, like I said, that's something, if the lawyer wanted to bring up, hey, do you have stage fright? Like, can you not perform? Because if you can't perform well, if you can't perform because of stage fright in front of an audience, then that is a reason to fire you.
For sure.
And not pay you.
But they don't.
No.
They never say that.
They never bring it up, which is weird because it's like they sort of establish it out of the courtroom, but it's never established in the courtroom. So it just feels dumb. This whole subplot feels dumb. But anyway, so his act's no good, and he's like, you know what, Matt? I fucking suck as a comedian. I want to drop the lawsuit. Fuck this. I should get another job.
And I agree.
Like, yes, correct. You're right. But instead, Matt does a bunch of tired, hackney lawyer jokes that the fucking judge and the jury all crack up about for some fucking reason. And he's like, I'm glad you like those jokes. It's his material. So, therefore, he's funny. So, I guess that means he wins.
I guess.
We never get a resolution to that, by the way.
Yeah.
I guess it's implied he wins, but the real victory is he's not going to give up on his dream to be a stand-up comedian. He should.
He should. And he didn't perform his act, so that's a problem. But whatever.
I mean, performing is a big part of being a stand-up comedian. Writing a good act is fine, but like if you can't perform, then I guess you have to sell your jokes to a real comedian.
Right?
But yeah, that's that plot line. Then there's Noah and Randy and Steve and Janet.
I mean, not that much is going on here. Randy is still staying with Steve and Janet. I guess his spring break is still going.
Did you not watch the episode?
What the fuck?
What do you mean you guess his spring break is still going? He's decided to drop out of college.
Yeah, but...
So his spring break is still going because he's not going back to Amherst.
But that's not why he's still there.
Yeah, he's on academic probation, and he says, I'm not going back. And Steve is pissed off that he's not going back. He thinks he's wasting his life. Okay. And Steve's like, the main, like, whatever conflict of this episode is that Steve is like, I want to make you go back, and he's fighting against it.
So yeah, he gets a job as a bartender in Noah's club.
A barback, technically.
Barback, whatever.
He can't be a bartender, as they point out, because he's not 21. But he can serve drinks. Not being 21, he just can't pour drinks. Seems weird, but I guess that's... I'm just going to go ahead and assume that they're right, that that's the law.
Sure.
I mean, they do have a lawyer, Matt, to consult, so...
And, right. And Steve is all pissed off at Noah for, like, giving him a job. Mm-hmm. Which
because
is
he gives
dumb.
because he's giving him an opportunity outside of college.
Yeah.
Steve says, "What do you want to end up like this fucking loser?"
Yeah.
Pointing at Noah.
That's pretty shitty.
Yeah, he was really shitty to Noah in this episode. But the Randy is he's very good at being a barback. Like, he's impressing this lady and everything. He's
good at lighting shots on fire
and then putting them out as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's impressing people. At the same time, by the way, this is a very, very minor side plot of this, but at the same time, Steve is also attempting to force his daughter into comforting herself.
Oh, yeah, this is going on in the background of the episode. Like, they're doing the whole, like, cry yourself to sleep thing with the baby.
Hands-off parenting or whatever they call it.
Awful.
What do you think about this?
I mean, it seems mean. I agree with Janet. Janet, like, wants to go comfort her kid, and Steve's like, no, she's got to learn. And she's like 4 months old.
Yeah, I agree with you and Janet. It sounds like I agree with you. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I like, whenever we have kids, I don't want to do this shit. Like, if the kid is crying, the kid needs to be comforted. Right. Now, there's a time when you can start weaning them off of that and letting them, like, comfort themselves, but that's like 2 years old or something like that, not 4 months.
But eventually Janet wins, but throughout the whole episode there's just this crying baby in the background and Steve's just like, ignore her.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
So Randy is like, I'm not going back to fucking school. And Noah's like, well, maybe you should. I picked up your organic chemistry book. I don't understand it. You're smart. You're smarter than me. Maybe you should fucking go back to school. And Steve finally has a breakthrough. He has a discussion with Janet. He's reading this parenting book or whatever. That's why he's trying to do this hands-off parenting thing. And, oh, by the way, Randy's fucking the girl that he impressed at the bar. She's slept over a couple times because he's staying at Noah's now instead of staying with Steve and Janet. And Steve comes in and he's like, hey, so I've realized that, like, I'm trying to force my daughter into whatever, and I'm trying to force you into whatever, and, like, kids aren't, like, no two kids are the same, and, you know, you have to modify your parenting style to the kid or whatever. And he's like, so, I'm not, you can do what you want. You don't want to go back to school? You want to be a barback? That's what you want to do? I'll support whatever you want to do. And Randy's all happy about that now. But he decides that he will go back to school, but he's not going to go back to Amherst. He's going to, are they trying to set up a Randy spinoff? By the way.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Because he's like, I'm going to go to Europe for about a year and a half. The exact amount of time that will be the rest of this season, and then the summer break until next fall. And then I'm going to go to CU.
Yeah.
Why CU?
Because he wants to be by Steve.
Well, it's easy. I know it's an easier college, too, so I'm guessing that's it, because I put too much pressure on myself or whatever, something to blow off school, CU. But, like, yeah, to me, that screams like they're trying to do something spin-offy.
God, I hope not. That sounds awful.
90210, the younger class. The new class.
No.
I agree with you 100%, but it seems like that's maybe what they're implying. And then the final storyline is the biggin.
Yeah, Dylan and his dad.
Dylan.
So, at the end of last episode, his dad had shown up at his door.
Yeah.
Now, throughout this episode, there's a whole, like, back and forth with Dylan and his dad. And Dylan's mad at his dad and wants to tell him to go fuck himself because he feels hurt and rejected.
Yeah.
And his dad's like, but I love you. And, like, they come up with a stupid-ass plan.
Well, what's funny is the entire reason he's there, apparently, is because Kelly called him.
Yeah, which is fucked. And, like, I think that's way out of line. And if I were Dylan, I'd be really pissed at her. But instead, 100%. He's, like, grateful because, you know, whatever, like, because they want them in love, so that's his reaction.
He, like, goes to kiss her, like, goes to make out with her.
Yeah, he does. He leans in like he's going to kiss her.
And then he turns her head and kisses her cheek. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, I haven't said it, but Matt's a lucky guy.
Whatever. Mm-hmm. The whole thing bothers me.
But apparently, Jack is in witness protection.
Yeah.
And Christine Pettit, FBI agent, knew the whole time.
So she was full of shit.
She was just lying. And it's fucked up because she was, like, in love with him.
Yeah.
And he started a whole new family.
Yeah, he's in witness protection, has been for 7 years, and he has a 4-year-old son.
Yeah.
So it did not take him long.
No. But, yeah, so he's in witness protection because he testified against a bunch of mob guys.
And he decides he's going to just give that up and come back to Beverly Hills. The FBI hears the people he's hiding from talking about him, though.
Two people they testified against. Well, he says to Dylan, he's like, look, because originally he's like, look, you know, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to tell you and everything. They gave me this deal. I took this opportunity and everything. You know, it's fucked up or whatever, but, like, you know, life's happy now. And he's like, yeah, you don't fucking care about me. All you care about yourself or whatever. And I guess that hits Jack right in the heart because the next day he's like, look, here's what's going to happen. Either I'm leaving the protective custody or you're going into witness protection with me because I want to be with you. So, you know, one of two things is going to happen. And so they, you know, Dylan just, like, they basically, Jack kind of makes all the decisions because Jack's like, look, I decided I'm leaving witness protection. I can't let you leave all this stuff. So, you know, he makes a plan to go, for them to fly to Arizona to tell his wife and kid, and hey, I have a son and we're leaving witness protection.
And they hire a private, like, bodyguard company, security firm, whatever.
But then Christine tells Dylan about and she lets him listen to the tape of them saying, like, oh, Jack's alive. He's in Los Angeles. We're going to kill him. Yeah.
So in the end, even though Jack was going to leave everything without having talked to his wife.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Like, who does that? He does, you know, tell Dylan that his wife knew that he was in witness protection. So,
but not about Dylan.
Yeah, which is kind of weird. Like, why would you tell her that and not about that
you had a son?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he's gonna leave, and then Dylan's like, "You can't because you're gonna die."
Yeah. And he's like, well, come with me then. And he's like, no, it's better this way or whatever.
Well, yeah, because this way at least Dylan gets to keep all the money.
Right. So I guess, like, this is another thing, like I said, where it's... For some fucking reason, they decided to say, oh, Jack McKay is still alive. Here he is. But he's going to go back to witness protection. We're never going to see him again.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that came from this that might last is somehow it got him and Kelly closer because she's the one who called Jack.
Right. And supposedly Dylan now has, like, some closure and feels a little bit better and everything about, because his dad's still alive, even though he can't see him anymore.
So he might be a little more emotionally stable going forward.
I guess, but it's fucking weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
Weird decision to do this at all. To do this and have it mean nothing.
But like you said, though, I mean, it might mean something for his character. Maybe that's going to be the growth that he needs to realize he's going to be with Kelly, because you know that's what's going to happen.
I hope so.
God, I hate Matt, too, so...
Yeah. Matt's... Dylan's the only, like, good character, really.
And so I want him with Kelly because I want him to get what he wants, not because I like Kelly, because I think Kelly's a bitch.
Yeah, Kelly doesn't deserve Dylan.
Right.
But, yeah, that's it. That's the episode. Not a great one.
No.
But, we're chugging along towards the end here. We're limping along towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
Carol, why don't you tell people where they can find their own exploded father?
You can write us at latefee1994@AOL.com. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yep.
And share the tapes with your friends.
Always next time, bye.
Bye.